All right, it has been a minute. Thank you for your patience. And I am back with a very special vlog for you this week. It's a blog tour of Chris Campbell's All Island, No Sea. So, I want to give a very special shout out to Isabel Kenyon for thinking of me, as always, for these blog tours. I love participating in these because they always expose me to generally poetry, but in any case, books that I probably wouldn't always necessarily go toward, and it's always fun discovering new things. So with this chapbook, in a word, well, I'm gonna cheat. In a couple of words, it has this kind of nostalgic, romantic feeling. Now, it's not romance like Shakespeare or longing for a love or anything like that. There's just something romantic about Campbell's style, in my opinion, that just makes you kind of want to be where he is to some degree. There seem to be a lot of poems about relationships, but again, it's not that, oh my gosh, I'm so in love and it's wonderful and it's fresh and it's new and it's amazing. It's more like, for example, there's one of the very first ones. I really need to get better about marking these, where he says, "My muddy fleece matches the communal garden opposite. Your bump almost bigger than our packed fridge. ... Our little one kicking, changing life as we know." And then there's another poem, for example, Playground Chatter, where Chris or the speaker, I'm not entirely sure if Chris is the speaker, it's always a little bit hard to tell, but where the speaker talks about visiting a school, like an elementary school, and hearing the playground chatter of the child that has not yet had. And so there's just kind of this very familial, loving tone kind of underlying a lot of the poems. There's another poem about a relationship with a grandfather, another poem about a brother. So it just has this very, to me at least, warm, cozy kind of feeling. Like it's very thoughtful. On the cover it says "Poems on Identity, Moving, and the Healing Power of Nature," and I really think that that is pretty on point. Of course, some people may find family kind of stressful, but I think for a lot of us, to some degree, family or those memories, those good memories of family, can be very healing, and that's kind of a lot of what I got in this book. Of course, that's not to say that they're all lovey-dovey, amazing poems. The very first one talks about, it sounds like leaving, to be honest. It says, its title is "The Morning You Threw Wet Socks as We Argued Over Bagels," and the penultimate stanza is about him supposing to close the door forever. So it's just a lot of really complex, deep human feelings in this collection, which is great because, I mean, it's very short, but it is very moving. And there are a lot of nature references, a lot of nature imagery. There's a poem about a starfish, and then there's another poem about magnetic leaves. And that's something that I noticed throughout the collection, not necessarily the nature, but that's very obviously there, but that Campbell is just very good at creating a sense of imagery and a sense of setting in something as short as a poem. Some of these poems, and of course I open up to a really long page, but some of these poems are pretty short. Actually, Magnetic Leaves is a really good example. It's maybe half a page, and yet the very first stanza is, "We slump into the front seats, spreading dirt, chatting back to the car radio. We've lane-ripped floorboards from boot to headrest, nails still attached, sweating from house viewings. And if that doesn't give you the sense of a long day of like house hunting or house remodeling or something, and just feeling worn out and kind of literally and metaphorically dirty, I don't know what does. He's just a really excellent poet who really puts you in the space of the speaker in each one. There's another poem called Nostalgic Tongue that starts off, tiny melons, soft as gums, fall from the roof of my mouth. They gather speed, smash into teeth. I hope I eat tinned fruit for dessert like my granddad when I'm old. And ice cream with vanilla from Madagascar. It's just, that part really hit home for me because my grandpa really likes cantaloupe actually, and so that like shared feeling of sharing fruit with someone that you care about, I think he just really captured it well, and the fact that it's called Nostalgic Tongue I think is just really on point, at least for me. And I think even if, I don't know, maybe whoever it is, whether it's your grandpa or not, maybe they don't eat cantaloupe, but you probably have some sort of like someone in your life where you're just like, that thing, that food, it's associated with them. And so it is just a really beautiful collection that I think really, in an understated way, kind of captures a lot of different elements of pedestrian life, whether it's eating melons or smelling leaves or being outside in elementary school, and whether you're thinking back to your time in elementary school or thinking about like your potential future, it seems very relatable. It seems very raw and authentic, and like I said, I love the imagery, whether it's talking about heavy recycling bins or it's talking about a dog crashing into your garden and messing in your flower beds. It's just very profound. And I know profound is usually used in the sense of like, oh, this is so deep. And I suppose on surface level, these poems don't seem so deep, but they have that feeling because they have this sense of being multi-layered and complex, and they're just beautiful. So I'm gonna stop there before I start babbling more about how beautiful and lovely this collection is. I, again, am so thankful to Isabel Kenyon for including me on this blog tour, and that's all I've got for now. So thank you for listening to my review of A Island No Sea by Chris Campbell, again, part of a blog tour set up by Isabel Kenyon. It was a lot of fun. I have made the difficult decision to kind of downshift a little bit. My personal and professional life has gotten a little crazy. So in an effort to give myself some breathing room and also give you hopefully more vlogs, I will be decreasing my frequency to every other week, just so that I have a little bit more time to read and write and film and edit, and these take a surprising amount of time. So I will be off next week. I haven't picked a book for my return yet, but hopefully y'all will stick around, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, happy reading and thanks.